Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Talking Insights, the podcast where we explore the trends on the market research industry. Now, last week, the team and I were in Prague for the Esomar Congress, and we recorded a few special episodes right in the middle of the exposition space. If you were there and saw us in the big fishbowl-like booths, I hope you enjoyed the conference and had a good time. To start the series, we're sharing one of the funniest and thought-provoking interviews I've done. Jess Pettitt was the opening keynote speaker of the event, and we talked for hours, from musings on human connection, inclusion, and transparency, to delicate balance between AI, storytelling, and real-life experiences. But there were also some lighter moments. We talked about the ultimate cereal bowl, ice cream adventures, navigating the chaos that are usually these big conferences. It was a very human experience, and this episode kind of reminds us that even in this world of data and technology, the human perspective, it's one of our most powerful tools. So get ready to laugh, reflect, and kind of rethink the way that we see people, organizations, but even ourselves. And since Esomar premiered the new design, logo, and everything else, we also have a new intro. So I hope you enjoyed the whole new thing. Now, without further ado, here's Jess.
Hi, everyone. This is Jessica talking to Antonio in a fishbowl.
Yeah. So we're in the Esomar Congress. This is like the first day. We're in the middle of the networking space. It's a lot of noise.
It's very close to ice cream, though.
It is. It doesn't smell, but I can see them, and it's just there. And everyone that's been here on the podcast, this is like my 5th or 6th episode that I've been recording. Everyone has an ice cream, and I'm like, I really want to try them. And no one was nice enough to just bring me an ice cream.
Well, change, because I will go get you one.
Thank you.
I got milk chocolate in a cup and then put a cone on top of it because I'm a professional. But it does come with the weird wood spoons. So I ended up scooping the ice cream with the cone, which would be my advice. But they have a number of flavors. You have to tell me what flavor you want. I will bring you an ice cream.
Thank you.
Don't say I do not come from a place of service.
No, absolutely. Like, I think there's a lot of people here that are very out there, and they just want to like learn and want to. There's a lot of people that just want to network, but there's a lot of people that want to learn. You're kind of like I mean, this is our profession. That's what you do. You go to conferences, you go to all these places, do public speaking. How do you see these big events, and how do you see people learning in these events? Do you feel like this is a good way to learn something new, or it's just networking and people just want to know what you're doing so I can copy it?
The answer is yes. That was a multiple choice question. I think that in the Esomar app, I think did a really good job of kind of highlighting this with those 2 tabs of like, what do you have to offer and what are you looking for? So most people have a return on investment that they have to go back to their place of work and say, thank you for spending this money, sending me to Prague. This is what I learned. This is what we should implement, etc. When that happens, there are people who didn't come to the conference who are dreading somebody coming home with like new shiny ideas because they may be in real contrast to other ideas that haven't even been finished yet, right? So the new idea people are the ones who go to the conferences. They bring home all the shiny things. So there's real innovation and creativity there, shared resources, delegation. There's all the right buzzwords, but it is also really annoying to get dispatched and have the responsibility of coming back with the thing that changes the world. And then the people who didn't get to go receive this, and they didn't even get to go to Prague.
Yeah.
Right. Now, the flip tab is outside of what I'm supposed to bring back home. This is really what I'm looking for. I'm secretly job searching. I'm not even secretly job searching. I'm out in the open job searching. I've already lost my job, but I don't know how to tell anybody at a professional conference I have lost my job. So I'm going to pretend I have a job while actually looking for a job. We're going to call it networking, right? So then there's this kind of receiving focus that happens at a professional conference. So I usually try to remind people the best way to receive what you're looking for is to match other people with what they are looking for. If you feel lonely, the best thing to do is to help someone else not feel lonely because you get a friend, right? Like that's how that works.
Yeah.
So I think you have to work both sides, and it doesn't matter what the industry is. That's literally the business of the professional conference. At the book signing earlier, it's the last thing I'll say. My answers are too long. At my book signing, there was a woman from Switzerland who was saying that it's always refreshing to have someone who's not from the industry. And I do get told that a lot because I don't go to a lot of comedian ceramic major conferences. So I'm almost always an outsider. But the commonality of every conference is a human interaction. So even as more and more conferences are focusing on AI and robots, et cetera, there are humans going, oh, I wonder what this robot will do. And we're forgetting the importance of that interplay between the two, which ultimately is human. And so that's why I start off with, I don't care what your job title is. I won't understand it anyway. But you and I are more likely to ride an elevator together than I am to talk to you about robots or AI or whatever. I don't even know the language to use. So on a human level, if we bump into each other or have a car wreck or see each other at a grocery store, who are we? And is there a gap between who we want to be and how people are interacting with us? That's my job.
Do you feel on these big events, on big conference, on big gatherings of people that throughout the years or more recently, things are becoming more inclusive for everyone? Or is it the opposite?
Well, see, that's kind of a trick question. So from a U.S. lens of language, I think most lefty, what we would call democratic inclusion, people with good t-shirts, great t-shirt collection, they would say it's becoming more inclusive. But I would challenge them that it's becoming more inclusive of the right kind of people. Okay. So I think we're doubling down on a definition which is often shared about what is the wrong kind of people. And so if we're really talking about inclusion, there isn't a divorce option. We don't get to vote anybody off the island. So very conservative people need to feel included, or they shouldn't be members. If they can't meet membership specifications, they don't meet membership specifications. But most organizations don't put a flag in that ground. They just hope everyone feels included without actually trying. I would say, people with disabilities are still excluded. People outside of maybe a Protestant, Catholic, Jewish faith often feel excluded. Gay and lesbian people are starting to feel more included depending on where you are in the world. Yeah. But bisexual, pan, omnisexual, asexual people don't feel included. Trans people are included if they pass, but not if they don't. We've kind of put up these qualifiers in our pinko commie liberal inclusion inventory, but we've voted a lot of people off the island as well. So it's a trick question.
Is there a simple, and I'm pretty sure that's not a simple way to do it, but is there, or do you have any idea of things that we can do not only in conferences, real-to-real person events, but also in companies, like in the day-to-day job in your company or wherever it is, of becoming more inclusive or having people feel safe and feel valuable on what they do at work?
Yeah. So my favorite question, thank you, 2 points for Antonio, 2 points. My favorite thing is it's free.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost any money, is sit down and determine who is not welcome.
Okay.
So that you can know who you're consciously excluding. Now, usually that makes people very uncomfortable because they're like, no, everyone can come. But even to walk through those doors, I had to have a name tag.
Yeah.
If you don't have a name tag, you can't come in. So we need to get comfortable understanding that fence line of who's allowed in and who are we keeping out consciously. Then we can get to who are we unconsciously not creating a welcoming or safe environment for. Then we get to the sexy work, which is who are we consciously including and who are we unconsciously including. But it starts with who shouldn't be here. There's not enough chairs and space for everyone in the whole wide world. So make a conscious choice.
And the same thing in the companies, right? Like when you're recruiting for someone, when you're looking for a new job, like also the other way around, like when you're looking for a new job, that's something that you should also keep in mind, right? Like, is this the right fit for me? Is this the right company for me? Do I not only do I fit the culture, but does the company culture fit with me?
When I work with a lot of companies on their recruitment practices, which helps with retention. And what I find is if we're going to racially diversify who we're recruiting for employment or volunteer opportunities, what happens, and this is a U.S. answer again, is we'll take the federal government because I used to work with the Department of Intelligence. So their number one place of recruitment was the Ivy League universities. Okay, great. So to quote, diversify their recruitment efforts, they did Ivy League universities and the historically Black college and university schools. And that's it. But you're missing state schools. You're also missing people from other industries who have transferable skills because you're doing something that's easy, that feels easy. Now, if you're going to consciously do that, okay, but you are consciously doing something easy that you are likely not realizing is really not great. Specifically thinking about people are living longer, they're working longer, their second, third careers, the transferable skills. And again, that kind of outside perspective, I think is really underutilized in our recruitment process. Not everybody goes to college or university. And if they do, schools also turn out really, really incredible candidates. But usually we're not thinking like that.
Yeah, it's for sure. A couple of weeks ago, I heard about this term because we were talking about something else, and then one thing led to another. But we were talking about greenwashing and
greenwashing.
Mm-hmm. It was a sustainability conference, mm-hmm. And then it kind of got me thinking of like it's not only like sustainability that companies say that they do and then they don't do. It's not about like I'm not using straws, but then I'm also using straws. It's not. I'm
not using straws, but I'm using plastic lids.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the term that's already in vogue. Like everyone kind of already heard about it. But that can also be applied to inclusion and diversion and all these terms. There's also like a greenwashing for that, right? Mm-hmm. For inclusion. Is that something that companies and people should be, or is there a way for people to be aware of that and to make sure that when they're buying something, when they're entering a company and talking with someone, be aware of like, there's this pink washing. I don't know if that's the term.
Yep.
I heard about it, but is that something that people can be aware, and how can they be aware of it?
I think that the short answer, because I rarely have any of those, but the short answer is it is happening. It's not if it's happening or if your organization is doing it. If your outbound communications is a marketing tool, then you are shaping a message for your benefit. And that shaping, whether it's greenwashing, pinkwashing, whitewashing, lavender washing, right? Like, look how inclusive we are of women or gay people or trans people, etc. The in vogueness of what you are inclusive of, you are marketing and advertising and a workplace culture that you can't follow through on because it's not 100% real, because it's been marketing spun, right? Mm. So then I would question, what is the actual transparency of the organization? And when I work with organizations, the first thing I do is I ask for the last 5 years of their annual reports. And I ask for the last 5 consultant reports. Usually takes them months to find these things because no one's read them. And then in the annual reports, the first thing I do is inventory the pictures that are repeated because they've been approved by marketing, right? And then I ask them, there's no failures in here. There's no missed targets in here. And they're like, oh yeah, we just don't report those. We don't want people to know that. Okay, so you're objectively lying. You're objectively editing so that you can put out a message of success and inclusion. That's yucky, right? So I challenge my clients, like, what did you fail at? And start there so that people understand why you're making the decisions you're making, being transparent with what those intentions are and how they align. That is way better marketing for recruitment than look how perfect we are on one Wednesday in June when we did a service project in a neighborhood that we didn't even tell them we were coming.
Yeah, I agree. The transparency for me, it's everything. Like if you're transparent and you're a person, a company, whatever it is, but like just show your goods, you show your bads, at least it's out there. And then you can say that it's for me or it's not for me, right, whatever it is, but at least you're transparent with it.
Right.
I think that's actually a very good point. I have one more question. What's the question that in all of interviews and all, like after you speak on stage, what's the question that everyone asks and why do you hate it?
Why do I hate it? I don't think I hate anything, and maybe I'm being too literal. The question I get asked the most that they think is going to be a hard question. Can I change your question? Yeah. So the last question I get asked a lot is, what is something free or a takeaway that people can do right now that's actionable, right? Like, give me a break. So what I say is often disappointing, but practice asking people questions that you don't know the answer to. We communicate in a transactional, self-serving way so much that we have forgotten that, like, you don't know what color socks I'm wearing. Now you do know. So then now all of a sudden curiosity is spiked And we have to solve that. In case you're interested, they're laughing llamas.
Okay.
I know. You're welcome. We'll try and get that on camera in a second. I'm not very limber. But you suddenly know that you don't know, and now you have to know. So now you feel entitled to knowing. Can you work on asking questions that you genuinely do not know the answers to? For example, Antonio, we just met yesterday, unless we count Zoom calls, but in real life was yesterday with your fabulous sweater that I'm super jealous of. Are you a pet person? And if so, what is your favorite pet you've ever had?
I only had one pet, and it wasn't mine. It was my partner's. It was a dog. My partner absolutely loved the dog. I never was a pet person, and I grew to be a pet person because of that dog. I never understood the whole why. And then I kind of grew to love it, and now I'm different.
Yeah. I also have a dog, and Leo is his name. And I believe he taught me unconditional love. And I didn't know unconditional love until I met Leo. If you could eat anything right now from the entire world, what would you eat right now?
Bowl of cereals.
Oh, that's such a great answer. A bowl of cereal is just a classic. People come up with all this fancy schmancy stuff. What's your favorite kind of cereal?
There's like these kind of chocolate balls back in Portugal. But the problem that I have with Cocoa Puffs is that
now we're getting to the important stuff.
I mean, if you want to hear about market research like the AI and whatnot, like it's not here.
But I promise I'm making a point. But go back to your Cocoa Puffs or fake Cocoa Puffs.
They're good because they melt, and then the milk it's chocolate milky, and it's not like milk and then like crunchy things or soggy crunchy things.
Soggy crunchy things. Do you drink the milk last?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for asking. Fruity Pebbles would be my equivalent because of the Fruity Pebble milk that happens afterwards, because I need more sugar. I am from the U.S. I eat all the Fruity Pebble. I really like the language, soggy, crunchy bits. So I eat all the Fruity Pebbles and have Fruity Pebble milk. And then I add Cocoa Puffs. So I eat the Cocoa Puffs with the Fruity Pebble milk. And by that point, when you're done with the Cocoa Puffs, there's not that much milk left.
So then do you add more milk?
No, it's perfect.
It's okay.
Yeah, the last bite should be the last of the milk if you plan it correctly. Now that we've done important things, as I stated on stage today, what I think is funny in talking to people at the book signing or at the lunch earlier, what is so fascinating to me is that researchers are forgetting they are researching people, but they are a people. And if we can't remember that we are what we are researching, then we're never going to interpret the data and the patterns from that data in a human way. And then it's marketing spin. And I know where I'm at. A marketing spin is not a terrible thing. But in this world, we also really need that human connection. So even though talking about preferred cereal intake methodology, which I'm going to tell you right now, people wrote that stuff down. They're going to figure out what is their country equivalent of this because we're geniuses, utter geniuses. But you have now reminded people that you're a human. I have reminded people that I'm a human. Now, from here, what is my behavior? What are my choices? What's my motivation? If I can answer those questions, now the research, it makes sense. It has a heartbeat. And I think we have completely forgotten about that. Even if some robot can tell me what the heartbeat might be, you actually have one, and it's the best asset that you're bringing to these conversations. We just forgot.
I'm not a researcher. I never worked in market research until I started this, until I joined Esomar and until I got given the, now you have to do a podcast. And I was like,
surprise!
Oh, okay, I guess. All right. I was always behind the cameras, always for like 10 years of doing things. I was always behind it.
But now you're this intriguing, exotic, in front of the camera,
but my point
dapper gentleman.
My point is that being here kind of makes me a researcher in a way, because I'm kind of researching you. I'm kind of researching the person that was here before you. So I'm kind of trying to understand what is you, what do you do, what's your project or what's your company or whatever it is that we're talking about. I kind of feel that that's a researcher, and there's different types of it. I was going to make a point of it, but one thing about me is that I forget very easily and my brain disconnects very easily. So I don't know the question that I was going to go with it.
Great. Your answer is what happened in real life. See, this, I actually think...
I remember what it was.
Go.
Got it. It was about the whole point of you think that someone's thinking the same thing that you're thinking, but they're not thinking the same thing that you're thinking. And this has an example of when we were building this conference, there's always something that you think that's going wrong or that's missing, or the lights, it's not exactly how I want it. That's like a big problem for me, because everyone's gonna know that the lights is not, the lights is perfect, by the way, but everyone's kind of gonna know like it's not like how I want it. But my point is, the people that are seeing this for the first time never looked in the lights. They don't even know what the light was supposed to look like.
Right.
And you're making a problem within your brain, within yourself, an extra problem that it's not there. You can be perfectionist, you can aim for the best that you can be, but sometimes that's also incapacitating. I don't know if that's the word, but in my language it is. And it's incapacitating of what you're trying to be. So sometimes we cut ourselves.
I think it would be
short.
encapsulate, but that's American English. I don't know what it would be in proper English.
I learned my English from Cartoon Network,
which is a great resource. I told a story today on stage about the ballroom dancer that I had breakfast with at Heathrow Airport yesterday.
Yeah.
So that was not in the algorithm, right? That like, now I'm an extrovert and I'm a morning person. And I was at the airport 4.5 hours early because welcome to me.
That's
of course I was. This is why nobody travels with me. He's running late. We ordered the same breakfast, except he got toast.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how'd you get toast? Right? Like, what's going on? Not because I thought I got cheated. I'm sitting right next to him. I didn't hear him order toast. He just got toast. And I was impressed because I hadn't seen toast. So toast was the icebreaker.
Yeah.
We had such a phenomenal conversation that crossed all forms of media. He's literally flying across the Pacific Ocean, sending me Spotify playlists as I'm flying to Prague, right? Like that is actually human.
Yeah.
Right? Now, why I think that this is relevant is one of the pieces, and I didn't have time to say this on the stage, so I'm adding it to the podcast. Listen now. When we were talking, he brought up AI because I told him what conference I was going to.
Yeah.
Big fan, big user, etc. So when we started talking about this dementia project that he's currently choreographing a dance to, I started talking about my friends that have onset early dementia, or their partners do, or I'm 51, so I'm just getting to the place where my friends are starting to get these like life-altering illnesses. So he was telling me very sad things about dementia and what happens, and he doesn't have real-life experience with it. But he interviewed 30 people and got some information. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And so I told him about my friends and what happens. And I was like, what's fascinating is we talk about the loss of everything, but we don't often talk about the isolated opportunity to remember the good things.
Yeah.
Because the other person doesn't remember them, but you do. And you slowly get to go through this inventory of joy that's not validated by the person because they don't remember it anymore. And he said, you know what I did do is I asked Grok, which I didn't even know what Grok was. I had to Google it.
Oh, yeah.
It's another AI something or another.
Thing.
Yeah. So he was driving on a road trip. So he was going to be in a car for 3 hours. So he told Grok about his wife and his 3 children. And he asked Grok to tell him a story about dementia, as if his wife was going to get dementia. What would happen? What matters? What should he do now? And this Grok thing told him this incredibly powerful story for 3 hours. So then he tells me, so I don't have to interview people anymore. And I was like, that is the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, this story was so powerful. And I was like, you think a story that AI came up with is more powerful than 30 people's actual stories? And he did. And the truth is, I don't know if he's right or wrong, but I feel like that is a conversation worth having over toast. Is he right or is he wrong? And then we're going to move forward from there, not making him right or making me wrong, but like, wow, that like hurts a part of me, because I think 30 people's voices are really important, but then you could counter that millions of voices have informed Grok how to tell this story. Ultimately, he said he's a better husband and he's a better father for it.
That's good. I mean, if it works, it works. If it works for him.
But we don't have to be zero sum. It can all be great. So anyway, that's the rest of the story that I didn't get to tell.
That's it. I don't know. I feel like we could have talked it for like more 3 hours. If we had cereal, I would have brought cereal and we could have just had a bowl of cereal and continue to talk.
We could. I will bring you Cocoa Puffs. I am going to get you ice cream. Now that I know the secret, I'll get you chocolate.
So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for your time. I'm going to let you go because I feel like we've done so much today. You've been just like going from place to place. You're selling book. This is the only one left. It's like, thank you so much for being
here.
here.
If need be, people can always get a book on the Amazon because that's where you get everything, at least in the U.S. And I've been asked this a lot. The first book, Good Enough Now, is much more about individual work.
Mm-hmm.
But at least in the U.S., we've given organizations human rights. So I wrote Almost Doing Good about organizations doing these human things, right? So whatever I can do to help. It's been an honor to be here. I think I'm getting invited to go to Kenya in February. Probably not, but I'd love to.
Ooh.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, I fly. But whatever I can do, I'm always available. You can, on the social media things, it's Good Enough Now, or my website is jesspettitt.com. And whatever I can do to help, I'm a yes, it's easy. And I'm really honored. I've really had a great time. So thank you.
And I think that's a very good outlook in life, to always be available to help out each other. Always try to be a little bit a better person than you were in the morning, and always go to bed thinking that like, okay, today was a good day. And when you wake up the next day, it's like, today's going to be a good day as well. Because, you know, I'm here and I'm alive and I'm breathing.
We don't have control over, right? I am not a camper, but there is a camping thing that I really appreciate, which is to leave your campsite cleaner than when you got there. Yeah. It doesn't matter that it wasn't your trash, but you can put it in the right place.
That's a very Boy Scouts thing. I know it's a very old century thing to say, but it's how they told me to say it's Boy Scouts. But I was one, and they tell me exactly the same thing. Yeah. Like, you have to leave the world a little bit better than it was before.
Right. And that world can be 1 second. So thank you so much. Thank you, Esomar. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, y'all.
And that's all for today, folks. Talking Insights is a production of Research World and Esomar, bringing you the stories, voices, and ideas shaping the Insights community around the world. If you'd like to be featured in a future episodes, share your story, or learn more about sponsoring opportunities, send us an email at podcast@esomar.org. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And join us next week for another great conversation. See ya.